Good afternoon. It's been a while since we got together, Dan.
Yes, we need to do one of these Dave and Dan discuss, or maybe we should call it Dan and Dave discuss now, huh? How about my turn?
Whatever it takes.
My turn.
Whatever it takes. You know, it's a beautiful day today. I mean, the weather is fantastic, but you know, it's time for us to get together and talk a little bit about what's happening at the county.
Why not? We have a new session now. Elections came, and we have 2 new supervisors. We welcome them to the group.
Yep, Evan and Don are both from Waupun. Kira has decided not to run again, and Mr. Grishay stepped off.
That's right.
So we got 2 new people, and it's good to have them around. We've elected a new executive committee. I'm proud to say
congratulations.
I'm on there.
Dave is on the exec committee. That is great. That is great.
I was nominated, for chairman. That didn't work out. You know, Dave Froling is still chairman, which is fine.
I was nominated for second chair. That didn't quite work out either.
It didn't quite work out.
Maybe next time.
But let's see. The exec committee, we have Mr. Froling, Mr. Johnson,
and Beal, Mr. Beal.
Mr. Beal. Yeah, those are the executives.
That's 3.
Yeah,
3 chairmen.
And then myself, Jody Stager. I said
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Then Mrs. Hedrick and Conway, Mr. Conway, right?
Oh yeah, Mr. Conway. Yep.
That's 7.
Yep, and that's 7.
Yep.
So I mean, we'll circle back. We had one meeting here earlier this week, and we covered a number of different things. That tape's available for people to look at, but we can talk about that. I'd like to say,
I'll link it.
Dave is the chairman, and he was able to give new appointments. Right, we have a whole new committee structure.
Right.
And Dave actually he had a lot of courage, and he changed.
I think he made some good decisions.
Absolutely.
On the committees this year, he made some major changes, and I think it's more of a balanced, well put together committee structure. I don't know if he could have done much of a better job at it, really.
Yeah. I personally, I'm on finance. I'm happy to be on finance. I think I fit there.
That's
right.
I think it's good.
I'm still on IT. I don't know what committees you're on, Dave.
I'm on Land and Parks again, and also on the Land Information Council.
Okay.
That's going to be a tough one to meet. They meet once a year.
Well,
that's going to be tough for me. Right?
It'll still be on a good day, right?
It won't be raining. It'll be sunshine. Yeah.
So I'll have to look at the schedule, and then if it's a specific day, I know that's the day to schedule a picnic or something.
That's about it.
Anyway,
I think it's good.
Changes at the highway, changes at the finance, a little change at the HR. So the good committees, I think you're going to see some fresh new ideas and fresh faces.
We have new people working together, and I think as they get to know each other a little better, that it might work out good too.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the building committee a little bit. They met last week.
Just lately, yeah.
We had a building study commissioned back in September. Actually, it's kind of interesting because if you remember in September, we brought it to the board, and the board decided to send it back to committee.
Yes, it went back.
I don't know if you remember this, but in September we had to come to the committee or to the full board, and a motion was made to send it back to the building committee in an attempt to include all of the buildings of
the highway department buildings.
Highway,
and
Clearview.
Yeah.
And so that did go back to building. They got additional costs from a potential contractor. And then it came back in October, but we didn't select any additional options. So
I don't remember doing that ever. Yeah, nothing changed really.
Nothing changed.
From the first.
Yeah, there was an attempt. We got the prices, if you remember. We got the prices of what it would cost to add highway and add Clearview, and ultimately the original resolution passed. Which was the original study.
But didn't the study include some of those buildings?
It's interesting that you say, because they actually gave us information on Mayville.
Yeah.
But Mayville wasn't supposed
to be in there, so.
Yeah. So
More for your money. That's good. That's what
Well-
we're doing here for you folks in the county.
So, yeah, ultimately Angus Young was the engineering firm that was selected. It was a $58,000 study and was presented last week. In my humble opinion, I don't think they did a very good job.
Why do you have to be negative right away, Dave?
That's me again.
Say, what I want to encourage all you supervisors to do, we have committee meetings recorded now. Go on Villo, is it? Villo, V-I-L-O, actually, it's a V. If you go on the county... Vimeo. If you go on the Board of Supervisors homepage, go all the way to the bottom, you'll see a circle with a V in it. Click on that and you'll be able to access all the committee meetings and the board meetings. And I want you to watch that highway committee meeting. It is interesting.
Building.
The building committee meeting, I'm sorry, the building committee meeting, because they have the presentation of this facility study all there for us, and Angus and Young, they explain everything. So I would encourage everybody to do that, especially on the board.
I will link that Vimeo site in the description
Okay.
of this video.
Ashley will link that Vimeo site so it'll be easy to get to for you.
Do you want to know why I'm not happy with that?
I sure do, Dave. Why aren't you happy with it? And then they can double check you to see if you're really being accurate here.
I'm not sure what direction was given to Angus and Young, but I can talk about what I thought we were going to get versus what they talked about. One of which is I thought we were going to have them look at all of the space that we have and try to figure out how will those departments fit into the existing space. How can we economize? In other words, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
They talked about moving county exec and county board chairman to the 4th floor.
Right, but wasn't originally it was going to be to see if we could move the folks in Henry Dodge building somewhere else because we can't afford to fix that building up anymore.
Well,
That was the intent I thought was behind this whole move.
but Dan, I'm a simple guy. I would list all of the departments. I'd perhaps put them on little post-it notes, and then put buildings on a board, and then start taking these departments and putting them in different buildings and seeing how we might make them fit.
Okay.
Okay, because you can look at how much square foot does a particular department need. I hate to pick on UW Extension, but there's only 2 people in that office. They consume 6,000 square feet of that building.
And I think that was mentioned that they have more room than they actually need, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they
But-
found that out.
Things like, conference rooms. How many conference
Yeah.
rooms do we have in that entire building, that admin building? And how many are actually being used? And how often are they being used? Did we actually study that? Or did we just say, hey, how much space do you have? And do you need any more? Because that's what I feel like they did. They went to the departments. Apparently they gave them a questionnaire and said, what do you need? To me, a building study shouldn't tell me I need a hardened entrance.
There was a lot of hardened entrance. Yeah.
More than one.
Yeah.
More than one.
I don't think they asked, what do you need? I think they asked, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want if you could have it? And that's where we might have crossed the line.
Yeah.
I'm
just.
But it was good. There was a lot of information there. Let's put it that way.
well-
But what are we going to do with the information?
But Dan, as I've been talking to others, and I would talk to anybody that wants to listen here today, one of my options, one of the things that I look at is if you take Health and Human Services, the entire building at Henry Dodge,
Yeah.
they effectively use about 85,000 square feet. Matter of fact, the proposal from Angus Young to build them a new building is about 85,000 square feet. Interesting, though, that the entire admin building is about 85,000 square feet. So if you took all of Health and Human Services and put them all into the admin building, then you'd say, well, what do you do with all these people in the admin building? Well, take them out of there and build a new building for them. What's that? You say build a new building? Yeah, because you only need 50,000 square feet to handle the admin building. So instead of building an 85,000 square foot building for Health and Human Services, you could build a 50,000 square foot building. You save 30,000 square feet at $400 a square foot, you know what that comes to? That's about $12 million.
Yeah.
So you accomplish the same thing, okay? It's just Health and Human Services doesn't get the new building. Admin's going to get it. But are we more concerned about making it work? Or are we trying to reward Health and Human Services with the new building? I don't know what the goal was.
I'm going to kind of wait a little bit and see what the building committee does with this.
Yeah.
Because that's their responsibility, and they have all this. And if you listen to the video at the end, they were asking questions and getting some answers, and they acted like, well, we have a direction. We have to take a direction here. What are we going to do? We have to figure this out. So I'm willing to give them some time because it's something that has to be done. The Henry Dodge building, what do you think should be done with that?
Yeah, I think it needs to go.
I mean, it is falling apart from the inside out. I mean, there's pipes leaking all the time, and it's just not. Why should we spend $12-14 million to upkeep it again? You know, it's not going to get that much better. So,
But a replacement as proposed by Angus Young is, 44 million.
But yet we could find something in the middle there, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, do we take, like I say, put all of these departments on a board and rearrange them until we find a combination where we can be economical or better spend the money that we have?
Hey, when the RFPs went out, didn't you put your bid in? It would have been good.
Yeah.
But no.
I personally, I've contacted the administrator and I told him what I thought about, rearranging this stuff. And, if a committee's going to form to actually review the report from Angus and Young, I asked to be a part of that.
Okay.
And ideally, we get a bunch of people in the room, smart people. There's a lot of smart people in this board.
Oh yeah.
Get them together and debate it.
Yeah.
What are the positives? What are the negatives? And try to come up with a cost-effective solution.
What I think we have to focus on more is who we as supervisors, who are we representing? Because this decision is going to, you'll see this, everybody, you will see what's going to happen here, because there's going to be a balance and we don't know which way it's going to tip, because there are supervisors who are representing the constituency and their constituency, the taxpayers, the residents first, and then everybody else second. And there are some supervisors, and we're not going to say who they are, but I want you to watch videos. You'll figure it out. Who will be representing our employees first. I'm not saying they're not worth representing, but that's not who we are here for. And then the constituency of the counties second, and they're paying the bills. So we need to find this right balance, and I want all the supervisors to be a part of this, not that it takes anybody by surprise, So watch the video and watch all the other videos that get online, and watch our supervisors on these videos and see where they're coming from. And then call them and talk to them about things if you don't agree. We need communication. Yeah. It can't just be a train that just rolls through and does what it wants. That's going to be changing. It's been that way, but I think the winds are changing there now.
Yeah. Do we have time? Do you want to talk about the exec meeting that I attended?
Should we do a separate for the exec or add on here? Maybe we, hey, let's, what's this one called? This one's called...
This is just an update.
An update. Okay, we're going to have a little tag with the exec here too. Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me.
All right. I only watched about not quite half of the exec meeting. And I want to watch the rest because it's getting very interesting. You supervisors who don't watch these meetings, you're missing something. So what did you think, Dave, on your first meeting?
Wipe a tear. No. The big item on the agenda was spending ARPA funds. As you know, we gave out ARPA funds to a lot of different organizations, and some of that money had to come back.
They weren't using it, yeah.
So we're going to repurpose that.
Mm-hmm.
And the prior exec committee apparently charged the administrator to go to his departments and ask for potential new projects that we could spend these ARPA funds on. Now, I had asked a lot of questions, like what was the request, who all replied, what was on the list that was rejected. Well, the only thing we ended up with is highway, sheriff, and land
Land and
resources
parks,
and parks. Now, we had a little IT one in there too, so I'll swing back to that. But if these are the highest priorities of the county, which I don't believe they are, and that's what I said at the meeting. I mean, replacing the laptops for the county board members. Yes, the county provides laptops to all of us. But, you know, that was about a $30,000 request from IT. And then to put new welcome to Dodge County signs up. And I said, I don't understand where that's a priority. We have to have other higher priorities. Now, of course, sheriff had 3 requests. And then ultimately, you know, the balance should go
highway
to
was
the
in there
highway.
too. Highway, yeah.
So we had a $1.5 million to allocate, and ultimately, the board, against my objection, wants to spend about $500,000 on all of these little projects. You know, 3 projects for the sheriff. We'll do the laptops, land reserves and parks. We're going to put some new bathrooms.
Those vault toilet?
Vault toilets in
Yeah.
3 different locations. So ultimately, we're going to spend $500,000. Now, what really concerns me?
I didn't get to this part. So
You know, Brian Fields comes up. He runs the highway department, and he says, you know, we can do a project, but his concern is, of course, if I allocate ARPA funds, let's say $500,000 to a project,
Yeah.
and then you don't fill that with the budget for 25 with other monies, okay, you have a partially funded project.
Yeah.
So we need the commitment to spend the money
Yeah.
for the whole
Yeah.
project, not just allocate
Just
what's
part
left
of it.
over,
Okay,
right?
Okay.
So my request was to just allocate the whole thing to highway and not do all these little projects.
Mm-hmm.
It's $500,000. Well, that motion was defeated.
Really?
And that bothers me because I think what's going to happen when we get to the next budget, we're going to need that $500,000.
Oh, I'm sure
Now,
we're going to
of
need
course,
it, yeah.
we need that money.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that came in, you know, the sheriff came in, IT came in, and Parks came
Yeah.
in and said, hey, I need it. Well, there's always a need for something. But I think as a supervisor, I need to help set those priorities. I don't see it as a priority, but 5 others in that room saw it as a priority. So I would be happy to go over that list. I think if you go look at the list of what's been purchased, you can set your own priorities. But I just think, you know, our roads are a mess. They've
That
been a
should
mess.
be a priority, yes. Absolutely highest on the
We
priority.
tried to get on them, and this should have been the priority, in my opinion.
I mean, we have a $160 million budget at Dodge County, and we can't find $10 million a year to fix roads
Yeah.
without being told we have to borrow for it. There's no $10 million sitting anywhere in the $160 million. Ask anybody in the public if they believe that's true. You know what they're going to say. So we're really going to try to deal with that.
You know, anybody, you know, I'm going to say, anybody's got a question, call me up. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
watch the video.
Right, watch the video.
Listen to the
Yeah.
discussion and see how it all transpired. And then you draw your own conclusion.
We want people to start talking because how long you been on the board now? Dave?
Probably 6 years.
6 years, and I'm probably around 3. Do you ever get calls from any other supervisors?
No.
See, nobody talks, and they expect to just hear a little bit at the meetings, and then it goes away. But we need to develop some communication. So that's why supervisors watch those meetings, and let's talk amongst each other one-to-one, just to get some communication going here. I do want to do a video coming up sometime on the ARPA funds, on how they were all spent, so that the public can get an idea, and we have new board members so they can get an idea on what's going on, and we'll bring this extra. When you think about it, a little over $17 million
Yeah.
was spent was given to us in ARPA, and now we have $1.5 million left. And I tried to push it for more highways. I don't know, you were there with me too. We were trying to push it for highways, roads, but no, they wanted to put in water meters and paint a water tower and all this kind of stuff. And I go, we need roads, but you can only do what you can do. So anyhow, I'm encouraged this year on what's happening. I think it's good. It's what's happening is good. And like I say, if you're from the general public, call your supervisors. Talk with them. You watch the videos too. And supervisors, watch these videos, because whatever happens at the committee level comes to the full board for action, and you don't have to be uninformed. We want informed votes. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes, it would.
That would be nice. So we can actually have debate. That's what's supposed to be happening. Debate these items and then make a decision. So, yeah, that's sort of what I had on my mind today, Dave.
Yeah, it was good to get together with you.
Yeah, and we'll do more of this now. I think it'll be good. So,
Thanks for listening.
talk again.